Outsmart the game of fitness by doing less. That's what I did, and that's what I'm going to tell you how to do in this video. But first, we need to understand exactly what the game of fitness is. And chances are it's not what you think it is. A lot of people think that the game of fitness is all about what you do. They think it's all about, your calories and tracking your macros and meal prepping and going to the gym and lifting weights and going on little jogs and getting enough sleep. And that's not what the game of fitness is. No, the game of fitness is a tool. It's a tool for you to achieve peak health, because when you achieve peak health, you have maximum energy, and then you can go and live your life to the fullest. You can have the highest life quality possible. So what we're going to do in this video is go over the 5 different categories of fitness. We're going to go over training, nutrition, recovery, mindset, and lifestyle. And I'm pretty much just going to tell you how you can outsmart the game of fitness and get the most out of fitness, achieve peak health and peak energy by doing the least amount of work possible. And keep in mind, this is what I did to craft my physique, play D1 football, and build my business. So let's go. Now, the first thing, before we even go any further into the video, the first thing that we need to cover is something called leverage. For any of my finance bros watching this video, y'all know exactly what that leverage is. It's putting in a little and getting out a lot. It's putting in 1 and getting out 100. It's like if you invest in a crypto meme coin and you get 1,000x return, that's leverage, because you didn't have to risk much, but you're getting a lot out of it. So when it comes to fitness, in order to outsmart the game, the way that we're gonna outsmart the game of fitness with leverage is by applying intensity. That's pretty much how you apply leverage in fitness, because when you apply intensity, that's where the true growth comes. The true growth doesn't come from just, consistent, steady state cardio sort of activities. No, true growth comes from explosive activities, actually applying intensity to the movements and exercises, and really just whatever you choose to do when it comes to the game of fitness. Now, the next thing that we need to understand before we go any further is also your body is very smart. There's a reason why the title of this video is Outsmarting the Game of Fitness, because we literally have to outsmart our bodies. Understand, your body's super efficient. Your body's super smart. Your body will never give you more energy than it thinks you need. So if you're just walking to the mailbox, if you're just sitting down at your desk and going on Zoom calls and typing in numbers and letters on the keyboard, why would your body give you energy? Your body's like, yo, this nigga barely moves. This is a sedentary being. This nigga does not need no type of energy. So you're not gonna get any energy. Because of that, what we need to do, we need to trick our body into thinking that we need more energy. And like I already said, we do that through leveraging our intensity. So first thing we're gonna go over is gonna be the training. And how exactly do you leverage training in order to give you the most energy possible? Well, there's 2 things you need to do. You need to put your body in danger. And we do that through sprinting. First of all, we do that through sprinting. And I don't actually mean literally put your body through danger. I mean just activating your body in the most explosive and intense way possible, okay? So that's pretty much what you do when you sprint. When you sprint, everything gets engaged. Core, glutes, arms, shoulders, ankles, legs, literally just your entire body. It's a full body movement. Even though it's your legs running, it's a full body movement is what you gotta understand. So because of that, a whole bunch of HGH gets released. And by the way, another thing we gotta go over, HGH, that's human growth hormone. That's pretty much, that's what bodybuilders be injecting into themselves. That's the steroids they be injecting. It keeps you young, it grows muscles, and it gives you energy. So anytime you hear me mention HGH, just know that's what it does. When we sprint, when you do 2 30-second sprints, there's been a study done on this, by the way. So for all you science niggas, I got you. But seriously though, when you sprint, it releases like 200%, a 200% increase in HGH. And I mean, the reason for this is simple, because you gotta think about it. It's like, let's go back to primal times, rewind a couple thousand years. If you was hunting prey, you would be sprinting after the prey. If you was being hunted by a predator because you pissed off the saber-toothed tiger or the woolly mammoth, you was gonna be sprinting away from that nigga. So I say that to say it's just a very primal movement. It's telling your body like, look, we gotta be ready to drop on a dime and be ready to go this way or go that way. It's just telling your body that you need more energy when you sprint. And think about it too, is like, who be sprinting the most? Kids. Little kids be sprinting the most on the playground, in middle school, elementary school, and all that. Teenagers and all that. And why is that? Because like I already said, HGH is the youth hormone. It keeps you young. So the more you sprint, just the younger you're going to feel, the more energy you're going to have. Simple as that. And on top of that, it should be noted too that when you sprint, you achieve peak athletics. And athletics, by the way, are another quick reminder for any of y'all who are new here. Athletics means athletic and aesthetic. That's right. New term in the dictionary coming soon. So anyways, when you sprint, you achieve peak athletics, meaning you're going to achieve peak athleticism. You're going to get your coordination, speed, power, quickness, agility, just everything boosted. But on top of that, you're also going to achieve aesthetics. You're going to get like a lean, tapered physique. You're going to shred fat. you're pretty much just going to get the best of all worlds, and you're just going to release a whole bunch of intensity in your body that's going to give you more energy. Now, how do you do this though? Like I said, we're trying to outsmart the game of fitness by doing less. We're not trying to be out here sprinting all the time. We're not trying to be sprinting 4 days a week or something. You know, this is not track practice. And for any of y'all that have been in track practice, you already know how real that shit gets. I remember the first day I did track, I puked. I was one of those. That shit was ass. But yeah, we're not going to be doing all that. Literally, all you got to do, 2 days a week of sprinting, and the sessions only last about 30 to 45 minutes. And real quick, up on the screen, I'm gonna literally give y'all some sprint routines, because I already know y'all probably don't know exactly, you know, what you should do to sprint. So there you go, you're welcome. You know, take a screenshot, you know, just save it in your phone or whatever. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the second tenet of training in order to outsmart the game of fitness, which is going to be heavy lifting. And why specifically heavy lifting is because heavy lifting, that's simply how you grow, you know, progressive overload, more reps, more weight. So when you do heavy lifting, it's just telling your body like, look, we need to be prepared. Your body doesn't know whether or not a 300-pound brick is going to drop on you, so you got to be able to push it up, or you got to be able to squat with it. Your body doesn't know whether or not you're going to be lying down and a 300-pound weight is going to fall on you and you're going to have to be able to lift it up. All I'm saying is, like, your body adapts to the stimulus you give it. So when you lift heavy ass weights, your body's going to compensate by protecting you with muscle, arming you up, strengthening your joints, tendons, and ligaments, all that good stuff. It's going to give you more muscle as well. So you're just going to look better and feel better. Not to mention, when you lift heavy, that's how you gain strength. That's how you gain power. That's how you gain peak aesthetics. Because if y'all didn't know, the way that you actually get big, the way that you actually progress in the gym and gain more muscle, progressive overload, meaning from each workout to workout, you're either doing more reps or more weight. So gradually over time, from each workout to workout, you're going to have to be increasing the reps and you're going to have to be increasing the weight. Now I'm about to tell you about the specific way that you should be lifting in order to outsmart the game of fitness, because there's a little nuance to it. I'm not gonna lie, because a lot of people I've been seeing them, they be going in the gym and they just not doing it the right way. They be on like push-pull leg splits. They don't be going hard. They don't be going through full range of motion. None of that shit gonna fly over here. No, if you want to outsmart the game of fitness, you got to do it the right way. So the first tenet of lifting is that, look, you got to do full body lifts. Simple as that. The reason why you want to do full body lifts is like, because we already went over, you're doing a full body. You know, you're activating every muscle in your body, simple as that. And the more muscles you activate at once, the more HGH gets released, meaning the more energy you gonna have. So how are we gonna do this? Simply put, all we're gonna do is utilize compound lifts as well as bodyweight movements. Bodyweight movements, these are like compound exercises like pull-ups, push-ups, dips, heavy compounds. These are gonna be stuff like power cleans, trap bar deadlifts, bench press. This is gonna be stuff like squat. This is the stuff that activates the most muscles in your body. This is the stuff that gets you the most strong. And on top of that too, when you do full body lifts, you don't need to go to the gym as much. You know, there's a lot of people out here doing like push-pull legs and bro splits and they in the gym like 4, 5, 6 days a week. That's not what we're trying to do. With full body lifts, you only got to go in the gym 3 days a week. So that's like what, 3 hours out the week? That's nothing. That's nothing compared to what you're gaining from those lifts. And on top of that too, there's been studies done where it's like the people who did the full body lifts, they actually had more gains than people that did upper, lower, or push-pull legs or any other type of split. Point being said, full body is king. We actually used to do that in football. 3 full body lifts a week. Trust me, that shit gets you right. Now the next thing you want to focus on when it comes to lifting is you want to go through a full range of motion. I'm talking as to grass squats. I'm talking when you bench press, the bar needs to be hitting your chest. When you squat, your nutsack needs to be touching the ground, my nigga. So that way you're going to strengthen everything in your body. The joints, tendons, ligaments, and muscles. Like I told you, everything is going to get strengthened, but only if you go through a full range of motion. Like there's this one dude on Instagram, his name is like Ben or something. And this dude be benching like 300 pounds, but he'll just be going like this. Like, look, if I catch any of y'all doing that, I'm slapping the fuck out of you. So do not do any of that, okay? We are going through full ranges of motion over here. And then the last tenet of lifting, just lift heavy. Lift heavy. That's all you gotta do. My nigga, just lift heavy, because that's, as we already know, that's how you progress. That's how you progressively overload. That's how you get stronger. That's how you get more power. That's how you get more aesthetics. That's how you get more muscles. It's simple. Now, as a little bonus, as a little added thing to training, one more thing you can do too is also just to play sports. And the reason for this is simple. Is like, look, when you play sports, it's just free cardio, you know? It's a free way of getting cardio, but on top of that, it's fun and you're actually able to socialize. Now, I know there's a lot of people out here watching this video that's gonna be like, but what about run clubs? What about run clubs? You know what run clubs are for? Run clubs are to go and get butt. It's for niggas to go chase butt. It's for people, it's pretty much, it's more of like a fornication club, if you ask me. And look, I'm not hating on it. I might even pull up to a run club this week. But I'm just saying, that's the whole point of run clubs. The whole point of run clubs is not actually for the cardio aspect. It's for the commingling anyways. But anyways, let me get back on topic. The reason I recommend sports over running is just because running is really boring, okay? You're just running on a treadmill. If you've ever seen like the people running around your neighborhood, is like when they're just going at this slow pace. They're not actually gaining much. Like you're not really gaining any skills, and it just looks painful. It looks boring. It's not fun. Rather, go play a skill. Pick up a skill like boxing or something. Play a sport like basketball or something. Play some pickleball or tennis or something. That way you get to have fun and socialize. You still get your cardio, but on top of that too, you actually get good at a sport. You gain some skills that you got in your back pocket, which is going to give you confidence in the long run. So how do you do this? Literally just pick a sport and go play a sport. Simple as that. Anyways, that is how you outsmart the game of fitness when it comes to your training. The most important things to remember is just sprint and lift, and that's going to be no more than like 5 hours a week, if that. That's like at the most. So anyways, we're going to move on to the second category, which is going to be the nutrition. So when it comes to nutrition, the main thing you want to focus on, of course, it's going to be fasting. And why is that? Because fasting is a cheat code. Fasting is pretty much telling your body that you don't have food. And what happens when your body thinks you don't have food? Is it going to starve and go into this catabolic state where you just slowly melt away? No, it's actually quite the opposite. Your body actually starts like upregulating everything. Here's what happens when you fast. So obviously, when I'm talking about fasting, I'm not talking about eating less food. I'm just talking about eating less often, eating the same amount of calories, but in a smaller condensed window. So instead of waking up and pounding breakfast and having a snack before lunch, then having lunch, then having a snack before dinner, then having dinner, and then having dessert, having like 6 meals at the day, just condense that into a smaller like 6-8 hour feeding window. Have like 1 to 3 meals, and you're gonna be Gucci, my guy. So what happens exactly when you fast? Pretty much all your health markers get boosted. I'm talking like HGH, BDNF, testosterone. As we already know what HGH does. Testosterone, that's the man hormone, and BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor, makes you smarter. That's right. That's why I'm a genius. So I said this to say though, is that when you fast, all these get boosted. And the reason for that is simple. Again, we're going to take it a little primal for a moment. Think back like a couple thousand years. Look, there was no fridges, there was no pantries, there was no leftovers, okay? You was eating what you killed, meaning that if you killed a bison that day, you was gonna eat the bison that day. And meaning that if the next day you didn't kill a bison, you wasn't eating. There was no like bro, there was not like plants growing off the ground. There was not like apples coming from the trees and whatnot. Like if it was wintertime, the only thing that you would have to eat would be meat. Pause. Simple though. So I said this to say though, is like if your body was just gonna shut down, if your body couldn't, function properly and regulate itself when you were in this fasted state, when you didn't have food, we would have died off long ago. Instead, your body had to adapt by making you smarter and giving you more energy with the HGH and BDNF. So that's why HGH and BDNF get boosted when you're in a fasted state. Like simply put, you just got to be locked in if you ain't got no food. You got to think outside the box so that you can get food and continue surviving. Now, anyways, another thing too is when you fast, you're just gonna have more time. Remember, we're trying to outsmart the game of fitness by doing less, and there's no better way to outsmart the game of fitness by boosting your health markers and giving yourself more time. Think about it. The whole process of eating, of cooking, eating, cleaning, digesting the food, doing that 4 or 5 times a day, that's just a whole fucking process. Rather, when you condense that into like 2 times a day or like 3 times a day or even 1 time a day, you're just simply gonna have more time. And during the time when you're not eating, when you're in the fasted state, like I already said, BDNF gets boosted, meaning that you can get work done. You can get work done on your job, on a business, on a side hustle. You can even go train, and it's gonna deplete muscle glycogen, which is then gonna allow you to take in more nutrients once you do refeed and break your fast. Just too many benefits. On top of that too, you're gonna have more freedom. Understand, you gotta think of like your digestive system kind of like a conveyor belt. If you're constantly putting shit on a conveyor belt, eventually there's gonna be a nigga on his phone who's not paying attention and shit gets jammed, and then you gotta work through the fucking machine to make it run smoothly again. But if you're just putting on only a couple items a day, something manageable, something easy to do, your body's gonna be able to fully, or like the conveyor belt is gonna be able to fully process all this stuff. And your body, your digestive tract is no different. The less often you're eating, just the more time your body has to digest and actually go through the food and make sure that it's going to the places it needs to go through. So when you fast, you'll simply just have more freedom and more time to digest as well, which is going to also just keep you lean as fuck. Now, the last benefit of fasting is just spiritual power. Because if you can go without something, and you can also go with something, that means you don't need it. That means you kind of transcend it. You pretty much just transcend the feeling of hunger, because after all, hunger is really only a feeling. So when you're good with food and you're good without food, you pretty much transcend that and you just rise to a higher level of a consciousness. Now, how exactly do you fast successfully? Because there is a specific way to do it. Ideally, you want to skip breakfast, meaning instead of, pounding the Wheaties in the morning, just eat nothing, my nigga, and then don't eat till like noon or something, and then stop eating at sundown. So like 6, 7, 8 p.m. Whenever the sun goes down, because days is getting longer and whatnot. But yeah, whenever the sun goes down, that's when you want to stop eating, and then that's gonna give you a feeding window of about like 6 to 8 hours, give or take. And yeah, you're gonna be Gucci with that. You're gonna get all the benefits from fasting. Now, I will say, I've had some people in the comments asking me like, yo, I want to start fasting, but I don't want it to affect my sport, or like, am I gonna be hungry and whatnot? It's like, dog, you gotta understand. You've probably been eating breakfast. You've probably just been eating whenever you want for the last 10, 15, 20 years of your life, like probably your entire life. You gotta understand, it's gonna take a few days. It's gonna take like a week. It might even take 2 weeks for your body to adjust to the new fasting window. I know when I personally started fasting, it took me like a good week or two to actually get used to only eating a condensed window. So what you gotta do is you just gotta ride out that wave. You gotta understand look, my body's adapting, but my body will eventually adapt. So I just gotta ride out the hard time. It's like growing pains. It's like when you first learn to ride a bike, everybody's gonna fall a little bit. You just gotta get right back on the bike and keep riding. Pause. Anyways, and then the last bit too about fasting is that if you want to successfully fast, something you can use is something called hunger blunts. This is going to be stuff like nicotine gum, caffeine, sparkling water, or even just regular water. When you consume stuff like that doesn't have any calories, not only does it pretty much just it keeps you full even though you're not eating anything, so it doesn't break your fast. But on top of that too, stuff like nicotine and caffeine, you can use it during your fasted state while fasted to get work done, and it'll just help you with your work and help you lock in. That's a little tidbit of wisdom for y'all. Now, moving on to the next tenet of nutrition, so that way you can outsmart the game of fitness, is going to be eliminate and then replace. So we're going to focus on the first part of that statement though, is to eliminate. And specifically, I'm talking eliminating the toxic 3, aka the worst foods possible that you can eat. That's going to be seed oils, refined carbs, and added sugar. And the reason for this is simple, is that these foods just have no nutritional value. They cause inflammation. They cause chronic disease in the long run. If y'all didn't know, all disease pretty much stems from inflammation. So if you're able to reduce inflammation, you've already prevented any possible disease that you could get in the future. But when you're constantly eating these shitty foods that cause inflammation over 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, eventually those chronic diseases are going to start popping up. But it's not like they just popped up. It's just you were simply ignoring and not facing the fact that the food you were eating was shit, Hey, I'm just a messenger. Anyways though, the thing is that you got to understand with these foods that have seed oils, refined carbs, and added sugar is that they're just mimicking nutrients. Added sugar is just mimicking fruit that you would find in real life. Refined carbs and seed oils, that's just mimicking foods that are high in fat, foods that are high in salt, that are actually useful and good for your body. It's mimicking nutrients, and it might taste like it has nutrients. It might taste good, but it's not actually feeding your body. And remember, we eat to live over here. We don't live to eat. So obviously, what's the solution to this? You got to eliminate the shitty food. You got to eliminate the seed oils. You got to eliminate the refined carbs. You got to eliminate the added sugar. Because the truth is, true addition honestly comes when you eliminate stuff. Addition by subtraction. When you subtract something that's negative, you actually gain something. If you subtract -1 from 1, it makes 2. You get what I'm saying? So when you subtract something that's negative, you're gonna benefit in the long run, is what I'm trying to say. But you can't just eliminate and then just leave a gaping hole in your life. If you're trying to get over drinking or you're trying to get over smoking, you're not just gonna stop drinking and stop smoking and then expect everything to be fine and dandy. No, you gotta replace the habit of drinking with playing pool or something. You got to replace the habit of smoking with meditating or something. I don't know. I personally had to deal with that, but for all y'all out there that's struggling with that, wish y'all the best. But anyways, that's all I had to say. You got to eliminate and then replace. And what are we going to replace it with? We're going to replace it with real food, obviously. Real food. That should be a no-brainer. But when I say real food, I'm talking just real food. Food you would find in nature, single ingredient foods. And the reason for this is simple, is because the foods you would find in nature, the single ingredients foods, this stuff actually has nutrients. It's actually gonna feed your body. It's gonna make your hormones right. It's gonna get your muscles right. It's gonna give you more energy. It's gonna make you look better. It's actually just gonna make you a healthy ass nigga. Simple as that. So eliminate the shitty foods, replace with the real foods. And what are the real foods exactly? That's gonna be stuff like red meat. It's gonna be stuff like eggs, avocados, which can slim your face, coconut oil, which can increase your metabolism. It's gonna be stuff like yams, blueberries, which got antioxidants, bananas. Pause. But yeah, just literally just eat real food. Fruits, meats, eggs, you know, food from the ground, like rice and yams. Like literally just eat real food. Do I need to say much more than that? Just eat real food. Eat real food that you would find in nature. Replace the shitty food with the real food, and make sure that you fast and just eat that food in a condensed window. And boom. Your nutrition is solved. Now you got energy for days. You just outsmarted the game of fitness, and you gain time in the whole process. That's right, you're welcome. Jeez, I'm like losing breath as I film this video. But also real quick, I want to touch on something. So if you click the top link in the description below, you can access the pre-sale to my course that I'm releasing. And it's pretty much just going to be me giving away all my secrets, everything I know about training, nutrition, recovery, mindset, and lifestyle, as well as just some extra modules too. Stuff on like the D1 athlete lifestyle, stuff on how to backflip, how to do the splits, even like workout programs for girls. And I'm also going to be adding in my personal training routine, which is going to be updated like every 2 months. So you can get it on pre-sale now. It's pretty much on the website for like pennies on the dollar, because I'm going to double and eventually quadruple the price in the future. But yeah, enough of my PSA. Moving on to the next category, which is going to be number 3, which is going to be recovery. So recovery is very important. If you want to outsmart the game of fitness, you can't just be eating and training. You got to make sure you recover so that you lock in all the gains, that you lock in everything you're doing. And the simplest way to recover is sleep. And literally, we're not going into detail on sleep. We're not making this that type of video. Look, get 8 to 9 hours of sleep, ideally. I used to say 7 to 9, but lately I've realized if you're training hard and whatnot, you want to actually be getting 8 to 9 hours of sleep, because it's actually going to give you more sleep, just like quality. It's going to give you a better quality of life. It's going to allow you to recharge your mind and body, you know, heal up, recover, regrow muscle cells and all that. But on top of that too is like the difference between getting 6 hours of sleep and getting 8 hours of sleep is like, if you're getting 6 hours of sleep, you'll be running at like half your capacity. If you get 8, you'll be running at your full capacity. So you actually get more out of the hours that you have in the day. That's stonks. That's how stocks work. Anyways, so yeah, literally get 8 to 9 hours of sleep at night. And little bonus tidbit is also start writing down your dreams. Yeah, that's right. Y'all probably wasn't expecting that, but seriously, start writing down your dreams. I've been writing down my dreams lately, and it's like the stuff I write down in my dreams will happen in real life, and it's just like, yo, it's like a mind blowing sort of thing. So yeah, if y'all want to like experience like some cool stuff, some cool synchronicities in your life, start writing down your dreams and watch all that stuff start happening in real life. Anyways, moving on to the second way to recover, and this one is like way more applicable and less common because, you know, everybody sleeps. But this one is going to be the sauna, okay? The sauna. That's right. That hot ass box where you go on microdose death. That is what we're talking about. So why is the sauna so effective? I mean, it's like I just said, it microdoses death. And a little pattern that y'all should be picking up by now is that by applying acute stressors like short burst forms of intensity, you know, like sprinting, a little bit of fasting here, lifting heavy ass weights, by applying those short, small bursts of intensity, that's how you get the most growth. That's how you get the most HGH stimulated. Because when your body thinks that it's in danger, when your body, you know, is just doing hard shit, that's when it's going to give you the most energy. You know, it's like I said earlier, your body is going to rise to the level of energy that it thinks you need. So if you're doing hard shit all the time, your body's going to give you more energy. If you're doing soft shit all the time, your body's not going to give you no energy. You weak ass nigga, you soft ass nigga. That's right. You a bitch. That's right. I slap the fuck out of you. Anyways, let me stay on topic though. All right, but seriously, so you go in the sauna, you pretty much microdose death. You know, it's very intense and whatnot. What happens is heat shock proteins in HGH get stimulated about 500%. That's right, 500%. So what exactly does that do for you though? Well, HGH, as we already know, youth hormone, gives you more energy, and heat shock proteins, that's actually responsible for recovery. So if you go in there after a workout, it's just gonna help you recover faster, which, as we all know, true growth happens when you recover. So going in the sauna is pretty much just like accelerating the healing process. On top of that too, there's way more benefits too. Like it can detoxify your skin, it can detoxify your hair. Like for any of y'all that be drinking or smoking a lot, if you go in the sauna after doing that, you literally gonna feel like a new person. Like me personally, when I walk out the sauna, I feel like I'm glowing. I feel like I just hit like a Super Saiyan Kaioken boost or something like that. Like I feel like I got so much aura. And then on top of that too, when you hit the sauna, it's just like, it's a fun time. Like simple as that. You know, you can socialize with people in the sauna. Like me and my homies used to rap in the sauna. You can flirt with shorties in the sauna. And like, even like, there just be random stuff happening in the sauna. Like speaking of which, to that dude, Billy Bob, if you watching this, you still owe me $1,000. That's a dude I met in the sauna. But yeah, I get the point. The sauna is just a good time. You're going to detoxify and you're going to heal and speed up recovery. But you only gonna get these benefits if you do it in a specific way. And the way I'm about to tell you about is like, you got to lock in a little bit here. So lock in, pay attention real quick. So the way that you got to go into the sauna is pretty specific. You want to go in for about 2 rounds, okay? So 2 rounds of 15 to 30 minutes. So obviously, if you're on the weaker end, you're going to do the 15 minutes. If you're on a stronger end, you're going to do the 30 minutes. So anyways, you go into the sauna for 15 to 30 minutes. After your 15 to 30 minutes is done, you take a 5-minute break, and then you go back in for another 15 to 30 minutes. What happens when you cool down is that this is when the heat shock proteins get released, because your body thinks it's good, but then you go back into the heat and then your body's like, oh my God, we need like heat shock proteins and HGH to like combat this. So all that gets stimulated. So how exactly do you do this? Again, I'll just give y'all my personal routine. I go in for 30 minutes, I take a 5-minute break, I go in for another 30 minutes, and boom, I'm done. I do that twice a week on my rest days, and you Gucci. And that's pretty much how you hit the sauna to get the most benefits, to outsmart the game of fitness, to not only give you energy, but also to give you more youth, and to just literally speed up the recovery process. Now, the last thing that you can do in order to outsmart the game of fitness when it comes to recovery is deep squatting. And the reason for this is simple, is look y'all. I used to do stuff like stretching for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour out a day. And look, ain't nobody got time for that. I don't have time for that these days. Like this shit was too much. So what I realized is that there's a way better alternative to like gaining flexibility, gaining mobility, and even gaining a little bit of strength. And you get all that when you do the deep squat. Like just going in a deep squat, think about it. Everything is getting engaged, but everything is also getting stretched at the same time. Your hip cavity, your knees, your ankles, your feet, like even your spine, your core, like everything is engaged, but everything is also getting stretched. Everything is becoming more mobile. Like me personally, I've been deep squatting for about 10 minutes a day for the last few months now. And like, if y'all didn't know something about me, I could barely squat last year. Like I fucked up my hip. I could literally only squat like 135. I was back in the gym squatting 275 Pondé head top. That's right, Pondé head top. And to a lot of y'all, that might not seem like a lot, but for me, that's progress. I said that to say, when you deep squat, it just has a whole bunch of benefits. Like I already said, it's gonna get you more flexible, it's gonna get you more mobile, it's gonna give you more strength as well. Because think about it, if you're just holding a squat, you're gonna get strong in that position. On top of that too though, it's gonna save you time. You're gonna get all the benefits of being flexible and mobile without having to like do the stretches and do the passive hamstring and quad stretches for like 10, 15, 20 minutes out of the day. No, literally all you need to do is hold a deep squat for 5 minutes out of the day. And also another thing with a deep squat too, it's just a primal movement. It has more benefits than just making you flexible. It can combat sitting, because think about it, when you're sitting down, it compresses your spine, but when you're in that deep squat, it allows your spine to elongate. On top of that too, it's a good resting position. You ever seen those Asians that are like working really hard outside of restaurants? They be on their smoke breaks, they be in that squat. There's a reason for that. It's a resting position. You can just chill in that spot. And on top of that too, the last thing I'll say about the deep squat is like, look, if you want to have smooth ass bowel movements, start hitting your deep squat. You're welcome. Don't say I never gave you nothing. If you want those smooth ass bowel movements, start hitting your deep squats. But seriously, deep squat 5 minutes a day, gonna change your life. Do it while you're reading, do it while you're watching TV, do it while you're doom scrolling on TikTok or something. You're welcome. All right, now moving on to the fourth tenet of fitness, the fourth category, the fourth way to outsmart the game of fitness. It's gonna be with your mindset. That's gonna be with your mindset. That's right. Let's go deep with it. So the first thing that you gotta focus on when it comes to your mindset is gonna be your purpose. And why do you want to focus on your purpose? Is because you gotta understand. Like I already said, fitness is a tool for you to achieve the highest life quality. It's not meant to be the end all be all. Now, granted, if you're like me and you're creating a business around fitness, or like you're a fitness influencer or something, or you really just like fitness, then by all means, go ahead and make fitness the core purpose and center of your life. But for 90%, for 95%, for 99% of y'all watching this video, that's not the case, okay? Your purpose is probably something outside of fitness. So what you want to do is you just want to take the energy that you gain from fitness, the energy you gain from sprinting, from eating healthy, from lifting heavy, from hitting the sauna, from getting your sleep. Take all that energy and just shift it onto your purpose, whatever that may be. Maybe it's building a tech business so that you can support your family in Somalia or something. Maybe it's becoming a doctor so that your family in Asia is going to be well taken care of. Like whatever your purpose may be. Take the energy that you gain from training, take the energy you gain from maxing out your health stats and just gaining a whole bunch of energy, and pour that into your purpose. And trust me when I say, you're gonna have more energy to pour into it. You're also gonna have more higher quality energy. Think about it. The version of you that goes to the gym and runs sprints and then goes to work on whatever their mission or core purpose is gonna be way better than the version of you that's just sitting down and just like, just doesn't have the energy, doesn't have the mental capabilities possible to focus on what their mission is. So I said that to say, take the energy that you gain from fitness and pour it into your purpose so that you can make a true impact and make a true difference in this world. because I'm not trying to get corny or cheesy, but look, y'all, you got to do something to help the world. Simple as that. Simple as that. You heard it here first. Now, the next tenet of mindset that you want to focus on is going to be your intent. That's right, your intent. So when I talk about intent, I'm just talking about your intention. What is it that you want to gain? You got to start being more specific. If y'all have read any of the Bible, you know what I'm talking about. It's like the quote that goes like, knock and the door will be open, seek and ye shall find. It's just, you got to get specific with what it is you want. If you just go in and you train, you're just like, oh, I'm just going to go train. I'm just going to go to the gym. That is terrible compared to the version of you that goes like, okay, I want to do this amount of reps. I want to get this amount of weight. Or just the version of you that's just intentional. Move with intention. Know exactly what it is that you're going towards. So that way you know whether or not you're on the right path to get there or not. Think about it. If you just shoot an arrow blindly, it could go anywhere. It could end up hitting a nigga in the foot. It could end up hitting a bird in the sky. It could end up just going nowhere and going straight to the ground. But when you have a target, when you have something to aim at, now you can move with precision, you can move with accuracy and actually get somewhere and actually accomplish something. So I say that to say, start moving with more intention. Just know exactly what it is you want. Get really super specific. Write out your goals in extreme vivid detail. Write out your ideal day. Write out literally just what you want. Like before you go to the gym, just say to yourself, like, look, I want to hit this weight. I want to hit this amount of reps. When you're eating food, say, I want this food to heal me. Like just start being more specific and intentional with what you do, and you'll be amazed at what happens to you. But the thing that you got to understand is that in order to be intentional, you got to be present. You got to be presently in the moment. You got to be where your feet are. Simple as that. Because that's the only way that you can pour your attention into the present moment. Because where attention goes is where energy goes, and where energy goes is where everything grows. So you just got to be specific. You got to make sure that you're present, pouring your attention into the present moment. And a few ways to do that is just going to be stuff like meditation. It's going to be stuff like getting off your phone, going on walks, and just doing one thing at a time. Trust me when I say, the version of you that meditates and just isn't on their phone that much and goes on walks and is just super intentional and doing one thing at a time is going to be infinitely better than the version of you that's multitasking and trying to do 100 things at once. My coach actually used to have this saying. He would say is like, when you try to do 2 jobs at once instead of just doing your job, you get caught between a shit and a fart. And when you get caught between a shit and a fart, you get something worse than a shit or a fart. Yo, that was like the worst example ever. I'm sorry. but you get the point. When you try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, you don't kill any birds with any stone. So just focus on one thing at a time. Be intentional and be specific. And then the last tenet of mindset that you need to apply is literally be consistent. Because when you're consistent, that's where all the growth happens. And the reason for this is simple. It's like, look, we want exponential growth. We want explosive growth. And the way that you do that is just by showing up every day, showing up with intention, showing up with the intent to improve every single day, pouring your attention into the moment. And look, when you show up with intention, when you know exactly what it is that you want, you're going to get exactly what it is you want. So literally just show up every day, start stacking days, start gaining momentum. And trust me when I say you're going to build like a critical mass, you're going to build a snowball that's just rolling down the hill and just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. Show up every day and do the work. Trust me when I say you're going to have that exponential growth. You're going to have that compound growth. That compound interest is going to be accruing and you're going to be good. Geez, my camera just overheated. But anyways, 5th category, the last category that we're going to be going over for this video today, to outsmart the game of fitness, is simply going to be your lifestyle. Because like I already said, the whole point of fitness is a tool for you to enjoy life to the fullest. It's a tool for you to have peak health, have peak energy, and have the highest life quality possible. It's not meant for you to live in the gym. It's not meant for you to be tracking calories like a lab rat. No, it's meant for you to enjoy your life to the fullest. So how exactly do we do that when it comes to lifestyle? Well, pretty much we just want to mimic a primal lifestyle. And the first way that we're going to do this is with walking. Walking is the most primal thing you can do. It's even more primal than sprinting. Think about it. When you walk, you get to explore places. You get to go to places. Your legs take you to places that you could have never imagined. You know, when you walk, you shred a little bit of fat in the process. Simple as that, because you're moving. You're in constant motion. And another thing too is that when you're walking, it stimulates your mind. It actually helps your mind focus and lock in better, because it's just like when you're moving, there's more stuff firing, there's more stuff going on, there's more synapses being connected in your brain, and because of that, you're actually able to have better thoughts. So how exactly do you incorporate walking into your lifestyle? Because chances are you probably live a pretty sedentary lifestyle. Well, there's a few ways to do this. Is for one, obviously, live in a walkable city, walk to places, use your legs to go to places. Like that should be obvious. But on top of that too, just like pop in an audiobook and learn something as you walk, or just walk to clear your mind, or just walk after a meal. You can even, socialize. You can go on like walking dates. You can go, if you have like a mentor or coach, you can walk with them and then just talk. Or if you want a date, like me personally, this is what I'd be doing. And I'll actually put you on game real quick. So something about me, look, I don't like to go out to eat. I don't really like to eat Cedos and whatnot. I don't like to go to the club and whatnot. I don't like to drink all the time. That's not my vibe. That's not the type of guy I am. But what I do like to do is go on walks. So if you like me and if you trying to do not only a cheap date idea, but also a free and more engaging date idea, start taking shorties on walks. That's right, you're welcome, free game. But anyways, seriously, start walking 10K steps a day and just incorporate it into your lifestyle. Use your legs to go places. If you can walk somewhere, do that. Take walks after you work out, take walks and just listen to audiobooks or learn something. Take walks after you eat to help with digestion. Just start walking more, and trust me when I say your life will get better. You'll expose yourself to new parts of the world. You'll be able to explore and adventure, and you'll just expose yourself to new possible opportunities, because you never know who you're gonna run across when you're on a walk. The next thing you want to focus on is going to be sunlight. And the reason for this is simple. Sunlight, it just makes you happy, it makes you healthy, and it makes you sexy as fuck because you get tan. So how exactly do we do this? Literally just spend as much time in the sun as possible. And going back to what I said in nutrition about eliminating the toxic 3, is that when you eliminate seed oils, refined carbs, and added sugars, but specifically seed oils, it stops you from getting sunburn. Like, if y'all didn't realize, as soon as we started putting seed oils in the diet here in America, once like canola oil and palm oil and grapeseed and vegetable oil started becoming the norm, that's when people started getting sunburn. Before that, when we were using stuff like tallow and butter to cook, people would just go out in the sun and chill and whatnot. If you've seen pictures of people at the beach back in like the 70s and 80s, they would just be at the beach without sunscreen, without burning, and they would be tan, they would be looking sexy. So I said that to say, eliminate the toxic 3 and you don't have to worry about getting sunburn. On top of that too, just kind of like with walking, just incorporate sunlight into your day. Train outside, go on walks outside, read a book outside. Literally just do what you would already do, but just do it outside, and you'll get all the benefits from sunlight. And another thing too, sunlight, it's actually a hormone. Like I said, it gives you vitamin D, which is a hormone. Like, you need it for your body to function. So literally you need to get sunlight, simple as that. Now, the last tenet of lifestyle that we want to focus on in order to outsmart the game of fitness is just socializing. Look, chances are you're a human. Maybe you're a monkey watching this, but you're probably a human. So I said that to say is like, look, you got to socialize, simple as that. We were brought up in communities. We evolved in communities. So you just got to talk to people every day, because for one, it's going to be fun. It's going to allow you to talk to people and improve your charisma. But on top of that too, it's going to give you opportunities that you never would have thought you had. Just talking to people every day, going out into a city center and just literally talking to random ass people, asking people how their day is, asking people what they like, what they dislike, and just talking to people about things that you like is going to give you so many opportunities that you would have never thought of, because you're just exposing yourself to the world. You're giving yourself a chance to get lucky. So how exactly do you socialize? My nigga, do I really need to tell you how to do that? Go hang with friends, go hang with family members, find a coach, find a community to join, and just start socializing. Start talking to more people. And what you'll come to understand is that when you take care of your fitness, when you prioritize your health, when you're training, when you're eating good, when you're recovering good, when you have the right mindset, the way that you're received by the world is just 10 million times better than if you weren't training, than if you were just sitting on your ass at home. When you take care of yourself, the world will take care of you. When you present yourself in a good manner, the world will present opportunities to you. So start maximizing your health. And you don't have to do it by dedicating your entire life to fitness. Just doing a little bit of training, making sure you're eating the right food, making sure that you're recovering, making sure you got your mind on point, and making sure that you're just living an active lifestyle, a lifestyle that's in motion outside and part of the world. Trust me when I say, when you do that, you will outsmart the game of fitness. Your body will be forced to give you peak health and give you peak energy, and thus give you the highest life quality possible. Seriously, if y'all made it all the way to the end of this video and watched this whole video, I really do appreciate you. I love y'all, and I'm out. Dooski.